What's good? How's everyone? I say welcome to the Giant Markets. It's another episode of the Giant Markets, and I'm here to inform you, I'm here to educate you about the stock markets, the forex markets, and the news around that are circulating, involving every market. So stick around and stay tuned because I have a lot placed for you. So today on this episode, we're going to be talking about the technical side of the markets. Because as I always say in every episode, that the forex market or the stocks markets, they are driven by two important things: the technical and the fundamentals. So the fundamentals, it deals with the news, and the technicals, it deals with the market on its own, which are the candlesticks. So anyone who opens, whether it's a MetaTrader 5, it's a MetaTrader 4, or it's any platform that is used for trading the markets, you will always see the graphs or the candlesticks. So anyone who opens and finds the candlesticks, know that you are there dealing with the technical analysis of the market. So I want to make you understand and have a clear idea of what will be happening when you open up the market. So today I want to talk about the hanging man and the hammer candlesticks. So these two, they look the same, but they act differently. So I want to give you an insight of how the hammer and the differences that are associated with the hammer and the hanging man candlestick. So the hanging man candlestick is what we're going to be talking about today, but on the next episode, that's when I will talk about the hammer candlestick. So let me kickstart today with the hanging man. The hanging man has the same shape as the hammer. The only difference is that the hammer comes after an advance. So as you can see, the hanging man simply appears in a rising trend, and it indicates a bearish reversal. So that's what you have to know about the hanging man, is that whenever the graph is going up, whenever you see a hanging man, you know that there is something that is going to happen with that trend. It's whether the trend it's about to go down. So that's why the hanging man always appear. So which means sellers will be outnumbered, numbering buyers at that time. So that's why the lower shadow shows that sellers push the price lower during the session, and buyers were also able to push the price back up, but only near the open. So what you have to understand about this hanging man is that that's why the hanging man, it has a long lower shadow which should be about 2 or 3 times of the real body. So the reason why we have that lower shadow is that it's a sign that sellers were trying to push the price down, and the buyers were also there, and they had to take it even up. So that's why it had to be created that little or no upper, or that little body which is found in the hanging man. So what you have to know about hanging man is that it has a little or no upper shadow. It has a long shadow that is going down, but when it's going up, it has little or no upper shadow. That's what we call a hanging man. And it is 2 times the body or 3 times the body. So whenever you notice a hanging man in a graph, these are the characteristics that I'm talking about. Know that there is a probability that the graph will go down at that present moment. So the color of the real body is not important, though a black body is more bearish than a white body. So when it comes to the hanging man, the color, don't worry most about the color, but because it's a bearish, it's more bearish than bullish. So you have to know that whenever it's showing you a bearish body, it's a sign that there will be a reversal that will happen at that present time. So what you have to know about the hammer and the hanging man is that both are created when the open and the close are roughly the same price but with a small body. It is characterized by a lower shadow. That's a hanging man. That's what you have to know about a hanging man. It's that the shadow is low and it's going down, and it's low and it's big, is bigger than the body. So this indicates a bullish rejection from buyers and their intention to pull the market higher. So whenever the buyers will be going up, there will be a certain exhaustion that will happen. That's why you will see a hanging man. So the hanging man is bringing the shift to the market. And obviously you will need other candlesticks to also identify and give you a proper explanation that this is what is currently happening and at the present moment. So the hanging man comes especially when it has a bearish confirmation in the top. That's a hanging man for me, and it recommends a close beneath the hanging man. So what do I mean when I say it recommends a close beneath the hanging man? The reason for waiting for a close under the hanging man, underneath the hanging man real body, is that if the market closes lower the next day, those who bought on the open close of the hanging man day and loss of trading occurs at that same day, it means are left hanging in a losing position. So that's why we call it a hanging man, because of what would have happened in the previous, let's say in the previous day. So whenever you see a hanging man appearing, know that a lot of people would have, they will try to even buy. They would have bought in the previous day and they want to continue buying for the next day, but a hanging man will be telling them that no, the market is now going down. So when the market is going down and those who have bought, they will be left there hanging, which means they will lose a lot of money, and anyone who would have sell on that day is the one who's going to get a profit. So a hanging man is best at all-time high and at least at a high for a significant move. So you need to understand that a hanging man, whenever it's at its highest, that's where we want to see the hanging man. Whenever the buyers have reached their fullest potential, that's why we want to see a hanging man. So that's where it is more effective, and that's why we need the hanging man for confirmation of what the price is going to do next. So that's it for today for the hanging man. Right, so right now we're going to go to our next segment of the day, which is the news. On our news for today, this is what has been happening in the world. So we'll start in South Africa, where there's a serious load shedding that is happening in the country in the recent days. Not in the recent day, in this year. So this is what has been happening in the country, and it is causing a lot of effects to the business side, especially to KFC. So KFC is facing challenges because of the load sharing that is happening, as they are crying that a lot of their food outlets, food stores, they are facing a huge problem. For KFC food is chicken, and chicken, they need a lot of electricity. So right now they're saying they are reducing the quantity of the amount of food that they have to sell a day, And other shops, they want to close because they are facing huge problems because of the financial constraint that is being affected by the load shedding. So load shedding is a serious issue and it's causing a lot of business problems to that country. Yeah, so yeah, it's a serious problem to that country. Then I wanna talk about TikTok. This is very important news. This one is very important when it comes to what is happening with TikTok in America. So America has decided now that they've actually did it now. It's something that has happened when they've banned in 19 states. They've banned TikTok. Why are they banning TikTok? Because they are crying and saying TikTok is a, you know what's happening with TikTok? TikTok is a Chinese-made platform. So this application was created in China, and children in China, as long as you are 16 and below, they are not allowed for them to use TikTok. But it's only allowed to everyone who's over that age to use TikTok. So then in America they said no, we need to ban TikTok because they've discovered that TikTok is now the number one. It's the number one when it comes to the most loved social networks at the moment. It's TikTok that is at number one. So America, they've decided to ban TikTok in 19 states, especially those states where anyone who's working in the government is not allowed to use TikTok, because it's one of those wars whereby they are fighting for data. For you know that one of the important things in life that you have to know is that data is very important. It's important to have knowledge more than money. So what they're actually doing, people who are running TikTok, is that they are actually collecting data on the behaviors of the people, on how they actually behave, how the children are behaving, how the governments are behaving, because TikTok, it has gained popularity because of the video content that it brings to the people. So that's why you can see even Instagram has also tried to come up with their reels, and YouTube also has come with their shorts, so that they can even copy the idea of TikTok. So the banning of this TikTok in that country, it will literally mean that there is an app that is going to come up to make money when this TikTok thing has come to fluidity in terms of banning it. So the person who came with this idea of banning TikTok, at first it was Donald Trump when he was still in office. Donald Trump saw it and said, no, let us ban TikTok. Let us ban TikTok because TikTok is not good. So obviously, billionaires have a certain way of thinking. This guy saw it before and said, let us ban these things of China. And it's the same guy who came up with the fight of fighting Google with the Huawei. That's why they ended up removing Google from the Huawei phones, which are the Chinese thing. So obviously, it's that rival that is happening between the two countries. So right now, the law has been amended and 19 states have banned TikTok, which means by next year, there are so many things there are so many states that will ban, and it will end up being banned all over America. And that's what we have to do even as Africans. We need to create our own apps so that we use our own, we have an understanding of how to do our own things, so that we create more jobs and opportunities for us as Africans. So right now I want to talk about Netflix. Netflix is paying 54 million for a 285 acres of land to push content. The first thing that you have to understand is that content is king. Content is king. Content is very important. So Netflix, they have decided, because you have to know is that the stock of Netflix, it had to fall from around $800 to now it's around $130 something. So they saw that things are now getting very tough in terms of the business, so they are trying to cover up of the losses that they did. So what you have to know about Netflix is that in the year to come of 2023, Netflix would be creating content, and they will start to have live content for their application, whereby right now it has been only focusing on movies. And there are other movies sites that have came, which are Disney and the Apple and others that they've invented. So they've came up and taken that spot of Netflix, which was having, when it knew itself that I'm the only one in the game. So in the game, the things changed. Netflix started to have competition and it had to fall down. But now they're coming up with new content whereby they will be having live content inside there. So it's a game changer to the movie industry. And Netflix, they know that they are leading, so they are coming up with new ways of improving themselves. Yeah, so right now what I want to talk about is that what we have to know is that Bitcoin and Ethereum lost over 60% of their value in 2022 alone. So Bitcoin, it lost a lot of value this year. A lot of things shifted this year. So they faced a lot of things. Which the other thing that we have to understand is that there is a Fried Bankman story which came also, which the same Fried Bankman story which came, which brought a lot of confusion to the crypto world, and that even made things to be worse, and it brought the cryptocurrency industry to fall heavily. So there are also other things that happened in this year. These are the things that actually happened in this year. Also, Facebook lost an estimated of 87 billion in 2022. Jeff Bezos, even himself, he was the heaviest in terms of losing, for he lost 80 billion this year. Larry Page, the CEO of Google, also lost 40 billion in this year. So this year there were a lot of losses that actually happened in 2022. So they say combined the billionaires worldwide lost nearly 2 trillion. According to Forbes, that's what Forbes is telling us. And the United States billionaires lost almost 660 billion collectively. So as tech company stock prices took a nosedive, fueled by rising of interest rates, inflation, and the worsening economy that is actually happening in America. So a lot of things happened in terms of the business side, and a lot of billionaires, they lost a lot of money, so they want to recover. So we should stay awake in this 2023. There are high chances that it's going to be a good year, because these monies that the billionaires they lost, they want to recover. So new ideas will come up in 2023, and we should be ready for them. So on the other news I want to tell you is that Rolex watches have outperformed gold, real estate, and stocks over the past 10 years. And it is believed that the Rolex watch is going to increase in terms of value. So why is Rolex, people loving the Rolex like this? Because the value of the Rolex is beyond gold. People are preferring to buy more Rolex than to buy gold. So why is like that? So what Rolex actually does is that Rolex, they will create a certain number of watches for the, let's say, they say in the next coming 3 months we will create certain number of watches. Then they don't create other watches. And when people buy all those Rolexes, you'll find that there are no Rolexes on the market. So what makes it to have more value is that the scarcity of those watches at that time, where everyone will be wanting a Rolex watch. So people will be having watches, they will start to say, okay, let's sell out those watches that we bought. And when they are selling them out, they are selling them at a higher price, because they are on demand at that time and they are nowhere to be found. Because Rolex watches, most of them, they will be having too much diamond and too much gold in it. So people will prefer to have it more than they have gold. So the Rolex watches, they are a serious value and they are on demand in the market at the present moment. So this is the news that is happening that happened this year mostly. There are other news that we'll be talking about as the year progresses in the next year of 2023. So right now we're going to our next segment, which is the segment of learning the dialect. So on today's episode, I want to talk about taxi. I want to make you to understand the language and the lingo of the market. So whenever you hear people talking about taxi, taxi is a compulsory contribution to state revenue levied by the government on workers' income and businesses' profits, or added to the cost of some goods, service, and transaction. So taxi is for everyone. It's not only based on a certain people. It's for everyone, especially if you are contributing to the country. That's why it's for business people. It's for those who are working. It's for the goods and the services. It's for certain transactions that are happening, because you have to give what belongs to the government. They are the ones who are the owners of the money, so we have to pay them. Tax is more of a rent that we have to pay. So everyone has to pay tax. That's why you always find a lot of billionaires and millionaires having problems when it comes to tax, because they didn't pay the rent of the money they own. So that's taxi. So higher taxi, we don't need higher taxi because it dampens consumer spending. So we need an average tax whereby people can spend and they can borrow money into the bank, from the bank, and the bank will lend the money and there will be enough money in the economy. So we don't need higher taxes in a country. So yeah, that's it for today for the lingo. So right now I want to talk about the motivation of the day. So as a trader, as a giant market, you need to be motivated to do more by the people who once were alive, and they made us to understand things different, and they made us to realize that it is possible. So today I want to talk about this guy called Carl Jung. Carl Jung was a Japanese philosopher. He was a great guy, very intelligent. He came up with so many theories. And one of the theories that he came up with is that the greatest and the most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. So, what was this guy trying to tell us? This was saying they can never be solved, but only outgrown. So he's talking about now and saying, okay, fine, the greatest and the most important problems of our life are fundamentally insoluble. So he is explaining to us and saying that they can never be solved, but only outgrown. So whenever any problems that people face, they can never be solved, but only outgrown. That's what this guy was saying. Then he said, the list of the things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without a meaning. So he was saying, anything that has a meaning, even if it's the least thing, as long as it has a meaning for you, it's worth more than that one which is greatest but without a meaning. So he was trying to tell us that the only way for us is to outgrow all our problems that we face, and even if it's little that we're doing, as long as it has a meaning, it's very important to our life. So this guy, that's what he was trying to explain to us, that it's important for us to be found in problems, but it's very important for us to outgrow all those problems, not to run away from them, but to outgrow them, to be bigger than the problem. That's what Carl Jung was saying. This was one of the greatest philosophers. This guy was super intelligent. He came up with, he's one of the critical thinkers that we ever had in in this lifetime. He lived around the 1920s. During those time, it was long back. So we thank you for the life of Carl Jung. So that's it. This is our episode for 2022. So you'll see you on the next episode, on our next episode of the new year, which will be fine when you're going to 2023, and we're coming up with new ideas, and we're going deeper in terms of making you to understand more of the markets. So thank you all for watching, and thank you all for listening. Subscribe to the channel and comment so that we may engage and have fun in terms of enjoying this content. Thank you. Bye.